Hey everyone, welcome to Arbitrary 20. Today we're going to be making homebrew monsters using only AI.
So yeah, we'll be using mainly ChatGPT, but if we want a different answer than what ChatGPT gives us, we'll try OpenAI's paid model, DaVinci. So we'll ask it to make some monsters of various different challenge ratings, starting with challenge rating 1. Make me a custom D&D 5e monster stat block that is challenge rating 1. Why is it doing it in code? So yeah, we have the Enchanted Rabbit. It is a small neutral beast, AC of 12, 10 hit points. It has its skills. It has dexterity as a skill, plus 5. Not quite how that works. Perception is plus 3. Standard bite attack, and it gets Charm Person once per day. Oh wow, the spell save DC is 8. Insane.
Wow.
I think that's like challenge rating.
That's like
1/8 at best.
1/8 at best.
It's on the right track though.
Gave us everything. The dexterity skill is funny. It's got a plus 5 to all dexterity skills.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Charm Person on something that doesn't speak the same language as you could be kind of weird. Like, you just all of a sudden just really like this rabbit.
I like how chat says that to use the Charm Person to protect itself or to lure prey.
Lure prey actually makes sense though. It's like you could charm it and then it could like sort of trick you into following it somewhere. And then there's a nest of 15 enchanted rabbits and they all jump out and kill you.
That's stuff of a nightmare. That is actual nightmare fuel.
Yeah. I don't think it's challenge rating 1 still, but it's interesting. Copy this, and I believe our next challenge rating is 5. Let's see what it comes up with. Shadow Drake is a medium, chaotic evil dragon. Armor class 17, 65 hit points, 30 foot speed with a 60 foot fly. Immune to necrotic damage. It's resistant to piercing and slashing. Dark vision. Multi-attack. Standard dragon stuff. Bite and claws. Shadow breath. Exhales a 15 foot cone. Dex save for necrotic damage and becomes stunned until the end of the Shadow Drake's next turn. This is a really interesting creature, actually.
Yeah, the Shadow Breath, it breathes out a cone. They take damage, a cone of shadows.
Yeah.
They have to make a dex save. Is that a fail save one, or is that
a dex save?
Or take. So you can avoid it all with the dex save.
Yeah, it looks like you avoid it completely. Yeah, if you save.
And then you become stunned until the end of their next turn. That's cool.
Yeah. I would honestly probably make it a half damage save, but obviously not stunned if you succeed the save. I find the resistance to piercing and slashing specifically pretty interesting. So like it, even for like the martial characters targeting one of their specific damage types, one of their damage types is going to work better than the others.
It's interesting. You can block it and it'll still do damage. Or it'll do the full amount of damage, but
bludgeoning is still fairly common in spells as well, but yeah. I think it would make more sense if it was just all of them, but I think that's interesting putting specific ones of those instead of just saying bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Right, because I know like the skeleton stat block, I think, they're
vulnerable to
bludgeoning, which makes sense. They're boned. That has some good potential, especially being like a CR5 that has some good room to like actually make some lower level characters kind of scared.
Yeah.
This could be an interesting creature fight.
We'll move on to challenge rating 10. The Arcane Behemoth. It is a large neutral elemental. AC of 20, 200 hit points, 40 foot speed. It is immune to cold, fire, and lightning. It's resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and it's vulnerable to force damage. Interesting. Has a multi-attack. It attacks twice with its tentacles, which do bludgeoning and force damage. Has a once per day arcane blast. 60-foot cone, dex save, or take 8d10 force damage. Again, doesn't specifically say half on a failed save. And then it has some innate spellcasting with intelligence. It has mage armor and magic missile at will. 3 times per day, wall of force and chain lightning. And once per day it has meteor swarm and power word kill. This might be a tiny bit strong for a challenge rating 10. This is a really cool one, though.
This is super cool. I have a lot of questions, but none of them really need to be answered. It's just... I'm kind of in shock. There's a lot going on there. So it's an elemental with tentacles.
Yeah, I know. Like, what does this thing look like, dude?
I feel like the spellcasting makes it a little strong. I think that needs
a
lot of tweaking.
Or you just make it a higher CR. But yeah, meteor swarm and power would kill once per day each. Chain lightning 3 times a day is already pretty insane. Wall of force, obviously really good.
It's cool because it doesn't make sense, I think, is why. Like, it has things that are just you don't normally see.
Yeah, vulnerability to force damage. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that. Force damage is usually just kind of the constant. Mm-hmm. Nothing's like resist.
How many hit points? 200?
Yeah, 200 AC 20 natural armor.
This is going to be really fun to fight.
Yeah, this is going to be tough for 10th level characters.
Oh yeah,
but
it would make you think, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You'd have to work hard to fight this thing. It'd be an interesting fight.
I'll just say with this, I'm really interested to see like the higher ones, so I guess we'll move on to CR 15. If that's 10, what's 15? Let's find out. We have the Celestial Titan. Huge, lawful good Celestial. Armor class of 22, hit points 300. 40-foot speed with a 90-foot fly speed. It's immune to radiant and poison, resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and vulnerable to necrotic. True sight of 120 feet. Makes 2 attacks with its maul. This is looking pretty similar to the Empyrean, which we have fought in a one-shot, I believe. It can make 2 attacks with its maul, 4d10 plus 8 bludgeoning damage, and some radiant damage as well. Has radiant breath, 90-foot cone. Each creature DC 20 dex save, or 10d10 radiant damage, and be blinded until the end of the Celestial Titan's next turn. Pretty good. It has divine intervention once per day. Effectively the wish spell. Okay. And then it has some innate spellcasting with charisma. At will, cure wounds, detect evil and good, and protection from evil and good. Cure wounds at will is actually pretty interesting. If you have to like run away from this thing and come back, it's always going to be a blow.
Right.
3 times per day raise dead and commune, and then once per day sunburst and holy aura. Pretty sick.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. It is kind of like the Empyrean.
But I think it's different enough to be something else.
Yeah, spellcasting is interesting, and then the wish feature, the divine intervention.
Oh yeah, the wish once per day. Pretty good. I really like how this is adding immunities, resistances, and vulnerability to almost all of these. Like, it's adding strengths and weaknesses, yeah.
So it's making it so it's actually can be a little bit tactical with it. The one thing I am noticing, all these have a physical action, whether it be attacking with a maul or a claw,
like a regular attack, and they have an alternate
like
ability,
extra,
or 2. Or something, like 2
ability.
And then spellcasting as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the sessions are just going to get really interesting really fast, because it's like, why would you look at any of the Monster Manual or any of those books? You could just have it come up with something for you and then tweak it.
Another thing you could do, you can have it come up with something and tweak it, or you can take something that already exists and have it tweak it, right? You could give it a monster that already exists and tell it to edit it, or like make it a different theme or something like that. Infinite possibilities. Oh boy, here we go. CR 20. We have the Elder Dragon, Gargantuan, Chaotic Evil Dragon. Armor class 25, hit points 600. Speed 40 feet, fly 120. Immune to fire. Vulnerable to cold, resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Blind sight of 60 feet, dark vision of 120. Multi-attack, can use its frightful presence and make 3 attacks. It has bite, claws, and tail. And frightful presence is exactly what you'd expect. Wisdom save, frightened for a minute, can save again at the end of each turn. Breath weapon, it exhales fire and a 90-foot cone. DC 25 or 20d6 fire damage. Innate spellcasting, at will, meteor swarm, and wall of force.
Broken. Disgusting.
Oh my gosh, dude. This thing is ridiculous.
Once per day wish and imprisonment.
3 times per day time stop. Power word kill.
Your party
can
just
cast time stop 3 times and get like 6 rounds to itself. Oh my, at least 6 rounds to itself.
And your party's just dead.
Yeah, legendary actions. It has attack, move, or cast a spell with 2 legendary actions. Legendary action to cast time stop and get several rounds to it. Oh, dude, this thing is crazy.
There's a lot to unpack here. I thought the other ones were crazy.
Far. Yeah, this is a lot higher than 20.
AC 25 makes it hard to hit. It has vulnerability to what again?
Vulnerability to cold. So this is like an ancient red dragon on steroids.
I can't get over those spells, man.
At will, a meteor swarm, and wall of force. Yeah, dude, it's just got a 9th level cantrip, you know?
Yeah. As you do, you know, like, it's normal. That's just how it goes.
And it's a legendary action, too, so this thing could cast Meteor Swarm twice every round and still make an attacker move on top of that. 2 moves, yeah. 2, yeah. This is
and then if it has time stop going, too, game over, man.
Yeah, if you don't counterspell that time stop, you gotta just lose.
Yeah.
Like, maze exists, so you just delete one of the player characters for a little while. I mean, there's tons of things you can still do with Wish. But yeah, we'll move on to challenge rating 25. The Void Walker. Size colossal, so we assume gargantuan because it doesn't really get bigger than that. ChatGPT is a little confused as usual, but we have neutral evil, it's an aberration, armor class of 30, hit points of 1,000. Its ability scores are almost all 30s, I'd just like to point that out. And then speed of 60 feet, fly of 120 with hover. Damage immunities to psychic and radiant, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing resistance, and vulnerable to force damage. True sight of 120 feet. The Void Walker can use its final frightful presence and then makes 3 attacks. 1 with its bite and 2 with its tentacles. Bite, tentacles, frightful presence, all look like what you'd expect. Oh, the tentacles also grapple. If it's not already grappling a creature, and the Void Walker can't use its tentacles on another target. Other than the one it's grappling, it looks like. It has a breath weapon. The Void Walker exhales a wave of dark energy in a 60-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a dex save that is DC 30 or take 20d10 psychic damage and be stunned for a minute. And you can repeat that save at the end of your turn. It has innate spellcasting at will. It has plane shift and anti-magic field. 3 times per day it has time stop and power word stun, and 1 time per day each it has wish and true resurrection. Legendary actions can attack, move, or cast a spell with 2 legendary actions. The hit points and AC on this thing are what make it unethical. Yeah. But no, this is on the same level, I would say, as the Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
I think it's taking the CRs we're saying and raising them by like 5, to be honest. At least.
I mean, we already know that CR isn't perfect anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're probably right. It probably is having a hard time with that. But it's spitting out some pretty interesting stuff. This is what I would expect at a CR25, or maybe around there.
I think
CR20, CR25.
The AC and HP would be a little lower, but I mean, this is cool. But like, even a party, I don't know, this would be ridiculous even against the party level 20 characters. Like, this thing has a plus 20 to hit, dude. Like, it don't miss. Alright, here we go. The final one. Challenge rating 30. Oh, it just says it can't do it. The highest possible. Wait. The highest possible is 24, but you just gave me 25. What a note to end on, people. the power of AI. Like the rest of our AI videos, we'll put all of this information onto an article on our website, and you can find that in the description. If you'd like to check out our last AI video, you can check that out right here. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.